So here we are in the 29 and the rescaping is progressing really nicely. You can see it looks a lot different than it did. I still have cleanup to do in this lower left corner. I need to pick up everything off the sand and stick it temporarily up on the rocks somewhere. And then I'm going to clean out this whole area. And my Paligrandus colony is going to be featured right in this spot. Part of that cleanup will also be to get the stuff off the frag racks and decide where all these little different kinds of zoos are going to go. My toadstool, there's another zoo there, and my neon green cabbage leather, there's a mushroom and a recordia. So I'm quite pleased with how it's turned out. Nothing is puttied together. It's all locked in with the rocks sticking to each other. The one area of instability that has me a bit concerned is that pillar, which was originally on the right. It wants to lean forward, so I've put that rock underneath, that white rock there is underneath the front edge of it. So I'm hoping that it'll hold it up properly, but I keep putting my hand in and shaking this top big rock here just to see how stable everything is. My main concern is snails, because I have huge turbo snails in here, and any one of them could do a number on it and completely knock the whole structure over if it tries to jam its way in. Here's one of the, this is the smallest of the four, and it's pretty big. So it's been a long time getting to this point, but I'm not unhappy with the way it's going, and I've got lots and lots of surface to put coral, and I've also gained myself a lot of open sand space and open swimming space. So I've never really been about fish, mainly about coral, but I'm starting to think that now I might try and get a few more fish. I think my tank is big enough and open enough with a deep sand bed that I could get maybe a 6-line wrasse or one of the smaller fairy wrasses, depending on what I can find that's reef safe. And I'm seriously going to think about that and maybe stock a few fish. My very first tank, I had a clownfish. I inherited it with the tank, and it was extremely vicious. I can't tell you the number of times I pulled that fish off the floor, because while I'm working in the tank, it's jumping out at me trying to get my face. So I traded it in and vowed never again to have a clownfish. But since then, I've seen tanks with clownfish that seem like if you give them a place to host and they're not aggressive like little Sid Vicious was, it's quite possible to have them. So we'll see. I might get a fancy type, maybe a platinum or a Picasso, something like that, if I can get one locally. So that's where we are today, and just this final little bit of cleanup to do, and of course I have to pull out the Pali rock to get all the green star polyps off. And you can see on that little frag right in front there, there are zoos, and there's more of the evil green polyps. I think there are 3 polyps on that particular frag. I also found 3 polyps on the lower section of that main rock at the back. So those are getting picked off with my weensy, sharp, curved tweezers and get them out of here. I have put a few corals in place. Not sure they're going to stay there yet. I put the green cabbage leather right up front on this beautiful rock, which was the rock that made me sick. And I think you can see why I needed to keep it, because it's a very beautiful rock, and this is the plan that I had for it right from the start. So I'm glad I kept it. And I put some zoos scattered here and there. These are blue hornets, aren't open right now, and there are a couple of other little frags. I believe those are gobstoppers. Whoa, on the top there. And we'll see how things go. I'm happy with how the yellow brick road and the hippie zoos look on top there. And look at this, I found a little mushroom that was growing on the top of that rock when I pulled it out, and when I rotated it, it lo and behold started to grow. So I have all of these little guys on the frag rack that have yet to be installed. Have to do a lot of thinking about where to put them. I also put my orange Bam Bam on that little rock back there. I'm going to see how it does over the next few days. I might glue it in place. Put the toadstool, the Tyree toadstool there. I will probably move it because I have a feeling it'll interfere with the zoos spreading out. And I put the Recordia there, and it looks really happy. It's really opened up. The Pally rock is going to stay in the front here somewhere. I'm planning to put another rock on the back. Not quite sure how that's going to look yet. I may need to get another piece of live rock from somewhere, or dry rock rather, and fit it into that space. There's a nice little swim through there, but I wouldn't mind making that into a cave or an overhang. That bag of carbon is hanging there because I was stirring up so much horrible detritus from the sand, and it was coming out in brown clouds, and I just felt like there might be some sort of toxic methane or something in the water from the detritus that was buried in the sand. So I've gone through probably 90% of the sand bed and stirred it up. The front was particularly bad. There was crusty stuff on the bottom that I managed to break through and clean. And so the carbon is just hanging there temporarily because I felt I needed an extra carbon source to soak up some of the awful stuff that I was pretty sure was floating around in here. I also have a cabbage leather up on the glass at the back. Don't quite know what I'm going to do with that. I guess as long as it keeps growing, I'll just leave it there because it's not infesting anything and it's not causing any problems. So who knows, maybe it'll grow downwards. Power heads need cleaning, obviously. And I'm really hoping that the detritus cleanup has improved the balance of nutrients in this tank, because obviously there's something in here that's allowing all that stuff to grow, all the algae, etc. And here is my Dr. Seuss fish, the lawnmower Blenny, eating the algae off of the rock that I leave in here for him. There's not a lot of surface algae in here right now because of all the cleanup I've been doing, so I've had to supplement with these algae rocks with sheets of seaweed banded to them. And he really enjoys it, as you can tell by the size of his stomach. I really like this fish. I think he's cute. I'm making good progress on the Rescape of the 29 cube. Here's a view of the zoos that are just waiting to be installed when everything's all set to go. So I still have the frag rack in front, so it's kind of blocking the view, but this is where I am with the tank, July 28th. I've built the wall up at the back another layer, and I think it's pretty much done. I have one rock left. It's Pukani rock, the 3 new rocks at the top there, the white ones. And I have one rock left that's a pretty large piece, which I think I might use on the sand somewhere. I haven't quite decided yet. But things are looking good. I still have cleanup to do to remove green star polyps from a couple of the zoo frags that were in the other tank as part of pieces of rock. And I also have them on the Pally rock here. And then a couple of these zoo frags were very close to the evil green polyps, and you can see they're kind of interspersed there. So I have to get rid of those too. So another week has gone by, and here we are. I think it's making progress. I'm trying to take my time, not get impatient, and make sure I make the right decisions. It took me a lot of trying to get these new rocks locked into place so that the back structure there is stable. And I've shaken it a few times and kind of pushed on it one way and another. And unless a snail gets right in underneath from the back and pushes outwards, I'm quite sure it'll be fine. Here we are, back. Still thinking about fish, what sort of fish I'd like to get. and really looking forward to installing all of these lovely zoos that I have here. And I have some mushrooms. On this rock there's two different kinds of mushrooms. These green bobbly ones. Some sort of a Recordia, I imagine, but really different. And then these look like Discosoma or Rhodactis, these two green ones. They were hitchhikers. I didn't know they were on this rock when I got it. And of course the ever-present green star polyps are coming off of there. There's the toadstool leather. And of course the pally rock. And that's today's update.